Good morning, everyone. My name's Carl van der Merwe. I'm the sales director at EB5 Marketplace, and we're here to discuss Southern Oak Dental, a direct EB5 investment opportunity. I have the pleasure of being joined by Yatsi Mu, who's the business manager at Southern Oak Dental. She is a Chinese national that got her green card through investing in the EB5 in Southern Oak Dental in one of the initial investments. And so she has a great story to tell, and is now a business manager and will be presenting this opportunity for us as well. Also very grateful to have Sam Newbold with us, who's an immigration attorney. He's with the CSG law firm, a large firm of, I think, 175 plus attorneys. He manages their EB5 practice and has represented regional centers, developers, and investors. And so great to have both of you here. Just before we kick off, I have a brief disclaimer I need to just provide investors with, that this is just a solicitation of interest. No money or other consideration is being solicited, and none will be accepted. We will provide prospective investors with a business plan and a term sheet, which is part of the offering documents. Anyone that's interested can contact me afterwards. So I guess with that, Sam, maybe I'd love to turn over to you and just, if you wouldn't mind, just talking a little bit about the direct EB5 program, what some of the recent changes were, the requirements, etc.
Sure, happy to do so. Thanks for having me on. Very happy to be here. The direct EB5 program has been around, since 1990. It was the original program for EB5. And, obviously over the past 20 years or so, it's taken a back seat to the regional center program, but there are some differences with direct and regional center investments and some of the rules surrounding it. The direct EB5 program was also impacted by the recent EB5 Reform and Integrity Act, which was passed in March of this year. It's I think the changes to directs, are pretty significant in terms of the way that direct investments have been structured and how investors have used that program. So I'm happy to kind of jump into some of those updates now. For both the direct and the regional center programs, the same rules apply with respect to investment amounts based on TEA and deal type. So with a direct investment, the minimum investment is $800,000 if that project is located in a targeted employment area. And if it's not, then just like the regional center program, the investment amount is $1,050,000 under the new EB5 rules. Probably the most significant change to the direct EB5 program from before is that the consensus that we have in the industry, it hasn't been confirmed 100%, but at least a consensus that we're taking from a plain reading of the statute is that you can no longer pool together investors in a direct EB5 investment like you could before. The statute, really, I think the intent behind the statute was to move, pooled investment structures to be under a regional center investment. And so what that really means practically for the industry and for investors is that you can have one investor in, an EB5 project or business, as opposed to multiple investors going into one, direct EB5 investment. Some would say that there might be some ways to structure that in some kind of different format. But, like with all things with new statutes, we're waiting for USCIS to roll out some additional guidance on how they're interpreting some of these rules. So all that we really know for sure is that if you want to file a direct EB-5 application, right now, you would only be safe to do so if you're a single investor in one business, right? That's the structure we know will work right now. Other structures, who knows how that rolls out over time, but that's what we know today. All right. And that's different from before, because you used to have direct projects with multiple EB-5 investors in it, which is now changed. I guess so. Program requirements still look $800,000, right? It still is the minimum investment amount if it's located in a TEA, and the TEA can be a high unemployment area, a rural area, or an infrastructure project, that's depends on certain factors for the project. For example, where it's located, or if it's an infrastructure project, having someone at USCIS, approve that it is actually an infrastructure project. There's still the same requirement about job creation. So the direct EB-5 program requires the creation of 10, real full-time positions. These are typically defined as what we call W-2 positions, 35-hour-a-week positions that the business requires, which is obviously different than a regional center investment, where you can count indirect and induced jobs. They're not necessarily full-time, payroll employees for the entity. So at the direct, we're doing head counts. We're looking at full-time positions and documenting that. And so with one investor, that business needs to create at least those 10 full-time positions. Another interesting development with the new EB-5 rules is that we can have what's called concurrent filing. This is a benefit that many other immigration categories within our U.S. immigration system have enjoyed for some time, but it hasn't been something that EB-5 investors have been able to use. And this means that when you file the EB-5 petition, which we call a Form I-526, that the petition can also have an adjustment of status application filed at the same time. So the investor can request an file the application for a green card called an adjustment of status if they're in the U.S. and valid non-immigrant status at the same time that they file their EB-5 petition. And that's a huge change, because prior to the Reform and Integrity Act of March, we weren't able to do that for investors. So if you're an investor and let's say you're in student status or H-1B status or some other kind of non-immigrant status, and you file an EB-5 petition, you can immediately file for the green card if your priority date is current, okay? And seek an adjustment of status. What does that mean for you practically? Well, it means a couple of things. By virtue of filing the adjustment of status, you can also file for work authorization and travel authorization. And that's a separate set of forms that are filed at the same time that you file for the adjustment of status. And it's an ancillary benefit of filing an adjustment of status, that you can get independent work authorization and travel authorization as a result of filing. And so after a period of perhaps 6 to 8 months, to receive those documents, the work authorization and travel authorization while your adjustment is pending, your life normalizes, in the United States quite a bit. You have independent work authorization. So if you're on an H-1B visa that's tied to an employer, your new work authorization is not tied to a specific employer. So you could switch jobs freely on that work authorization, for example. If you're a student, in F1 status and can't work at all, or for maybe your OPT is expiring post-graduation, getting this work authorization will allow you to continue to work for your new employer, or go work anywhere you want and not have to go through the arduous process of submitting an H-1B lottery application and going through that process of finding, an employer sponsor for your visa. It also allows you to have travel authorization. So it allows you to get what's called advanced parole, which allows you to leave the US and come back into the US pursuant to your pending adjustment of status application. So in many ways, 95% of the benefits that you're looking for are attached to that adjustment of status that you can file with the EB-5 petition. The work authorization and travel authorization, those are huge, huge benefits. To me, that was one of the best improvements of the new statute, because practically that solves a lot of the issues, for investors who are looking for, these immigration benefits. And then on top of that, there were specific visa set-asides in the statute. And this has been, I think, building up for some time, that, proponents of the program wanted to see EB-5 used, in more underserved areas. So rural areas, high unemployment areas, specifically in infrastructure projects. They wanted these to incentivize investors to have funds and projects to use this money for those types of investments and those types of projects. And so the government created, these visa carve-outs as incentives to allow investors to take advantage of specific visa allocation, to hopefully move them to the front of the line, or to avoid certain types of backlogs with priority dates, like, for example, like China has had for many, many years. And so those types of set-asides are available, 20% for rural, 10% for high unemployment area projects, and 2% for infrastructure projects. And so those are also unused visas roll over from year to year. So it could be that there's actually more visas available on a rolling basis, based on unused visas and unallocated visas on an annual basis. So essentially what that means is, for certain types of projects available now, you might be able to get in early and have the benefit of a special visa allocation for you, that maybe others who invest later may not be able to benefit the same way. And that's another really big benefit of, I think, the changes to the statute, and investors who might be looking for an opportunity now based on their situation. So with that, that's my summary of the direct EB-5 program, some of the changes that have happened to it. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that might come through specifically on that. And Carl, if you think there's anything else you want me to hit on, please let me know.
That was a great summary, Sam. Thanks very much. Yeah, please, if there are any questions, just type them in. I see there are one or two already, but just we'll maybe best if we come back to those at the end. So I'd love to sort of hand over to Yatsi, if you wouldn't mind. I should add, Yatsi is an attorney herself, but she's here to chat to us about Southern Oak. And Yatsi, I'll hand over to you, if you'd like to introduce yourself. And
yeah, hi, I'm Yatsi. So I'm the business manager for this direct investment program, Southern Oak Dental. I'm also a prior EB-5 investor before. So originally, my family invested in this direct project, and we got our green card, 10 years green card, through this project in September last year. During the process, we also helped other 3 families got their I-829 approved and got their 10 years green card. So we want to share our direct investment experience to other potential investors. And we also want to expand our business to help the other investors so we can provide a direct investment opportunity to other investors to help their green card process. So Southern Oak Dental is a business we invested in and we are running right now. Southern Oak Dental is a chain of dental clinics located in South Carolina. We are looking to, so currently we have 3 dental offices in South Carolina. So we are looking to open other 3 dental clinics. So we have 3 direct investment opportunity provided now to the new potential investors. So currently we are looking to get 3 new investors to raising 2.4 million for our future development. So our clinics, the new location, we are looking to have the new location in the TEA area. So each investor, each investor will invest in 1 clinic with $8,100, and the average cost to develop each clinic is about the number on the slide, it says 800,000 to 900,000, but considering about the inflation and everything, the price increased, it's cost about 1 million now. The numbers are updated in our new business plan. So we know the location is a key point for the success of the business, especially we are dental clinics. So when we choose our location, we will choose all new locations in newly developed master planned communities. We also qualify for the TEA requirements. Each clinic, we will create about 20 full-time jobs to sponsor the investors' EB5 requirements. I want to say we have some very good experience in the past, because my own family got our own green card through this direct project. So we already have a lot of experience by developing, preparing, and open operation the dental clinics in the past. So we will replicate our experience to open the 3 new locations for the new investors. Previously, we have 4 investors before, and all the 4 investors all got their I-829 approved last year in September and November. So we are very, very happy about the result for the phase 1 project. And we have a lot of confidence in the future plan. Want to share the 3 new locations. So the first picture is our Conway location, located in South Carolina, Conway. The middle is the Greenville location. The third picture shows our Bluffton location. Those 3 dental clinics sponsored 4 investors green card process. Before the previous direct project, we can still form a pooled direct investment. So we have 4 investors invested in 1 company, but the USCIS already update the requirements for direct investment. So moving forward, each clinic will only have 1 investor for the new dental clinics. we plan to open in the future. So we already have some proposed locations for the new dental clinics. You can see on the map, the 3 green T's stands for our current 3 dental clinics, and the orange star stands for the new locations we are looking to open new dental clinics. We will utilize our current experience and our current management team to do the daily operation and new construction for the dental clinics. So Southern Oak Dental is committed to providing quality, affordable dental services to the communities we serve. That means we are dental clinics focused on general dentistry. So we offering preventive, like teeth cleaning, teeth whitening, and such general dentistry works to our clients. This is a picture for our Blackton team. In the middle is Dr. Kimberly Frisk. Dr. Frisk is also qualified for dental implants work now. So she is the main doctor for our company, and she already worked for us over 5 years, and she is also responsible to interview the new doctors and do mentor works for the new doctors we hire in the future. So this slide shows the main services we provide. You can see the exams, x-rays, teeth cleaning, dental crowns, fillings, dentures, extractions. And we also provide some orthodontist work like Invisalign and cosmetic bondings and veneers. The reason we choose dental clinics for our own EB5 process was we feel it's a very good opportunity. So dental clinics growing very fast in the United States, especially in South Carolina. Currently, a lot of people moving to South Carolina. Our community is growing very fast, and we feel the investment return also increasing very fast every year. So Kelly is our director of operations. She has over 20 years of experience in dental office management and dental insurance billing. So she will supervise for our clinic's daily operation and responsible for our staff training. When we open the new 3 dental clinics for the new investors, our management team will also responsible to their daily operation and management. So we can duplicate our experience to the new dental clinics. And the experience already proven very efficient. And this slide shows our current doctors for our 3 dental clinics. So every dental clinics, we plan to have 2 doctors, at least 8 dental assistants, 3 to 4 dental hygienists, about 4 for front desks and one office manager. So each dental clinics will create about 20 jobs for the new investors in the future. Here is our project status and timeline. So we already have 2 leases under negotiation. Actually, we already found the 3rd location, and all of the 3 locations are in TEA area. So we are very confident to for the 3 new locations. They are all located in big shopping center. There are a lot of big communities, master planned communities around them. So we are very confident about the future patient flow and the cash flow. Here is our offering details. In each NCE, we will provide 40% equity to each EB5 investor. So the EB5 investor will own 40% ownership for the company, and our management company will own the other 60%. We will also provide annual distribution of profits to the investors. We already because I was a EB5 investor before, so I understand investors are concerned. Most two concerns for the investors. The first is could we get our green card smoothly? The second is how could we protect our money we invested in the project? So we will provide transparent ongoing financial reports to investors. So the investors will have peace of mind about our financial status. And we expect to have net profit from the 2nd year of operation. And in our offering documents, we also have requirements need to distribute our net profits to the investors. We also provide clear exit strategy to the investors. Like after 7 years, investors got their I-829 approved and received their 10 years green card. We will offer to buy the investors out from from the NCE. So, and the investors could get the original invested amount, $800,000, and plus the every year's profit distribution. So I feel it's a very good investment opportunity to the investors.
Thank you. That's,
yeah. Yeah, please let me know if you cannot understand me, because I'm also from overseas.
No, that was very good. Thank you. I see we do have a few questions, but I've had some questions in the past, and maybe we can just touch on those because, I think they do come up more than once. But one was, and you did talk a little bit about, but your locations are crucial. I know you do a lot of you do a lot of work in terms of identifying suitable locations, looking at the various demographics and so on, that, and you finding areas that are unsaturated. There are not a lot of other dental offices in the area. So maybe do you want to just expand a little bit on that, on how you identify locations?
Yeah, for identify locations, first, we need to confirm the location is in a TA area. So that will beneficial to the investors, because the TA area, invest with the TA area, investors just need to invest $800,000, and the USCIS will process application faster than the non-TA area. And secondly, we would like to choose a location near master planned, newly constructed big communities that confirms there will be a big population around our dental clinics. That will help us have a stable patient flow and cash flow in our daily operation. So it will confirm that it will be a very key point for our business success in the future.
Excellent. Okay, we have a question here, Yatsi, for you. Are profits shared with investors from the first year?
Oh, for the first year, normally we do not expect have a lot of profit for the first year, because the first year it takes times to do the construction, like after we rent a location, rent an office, normally take about 6 months to prepare the interior construction to make it works as a dental clinics. And then we will take time to do the hiring and marketing. So we will have our team prepared, and we will build our schedule. So in our business plan, it has a very clear projected timeline. When will we have the net profit? So we projected to have net profit from the second year. So from the second year, we will distribute the net profit to the investors.
Maybe if I could just add a little bit to that, there are there are projections in the business plan that are based on the existing clinics, and so I think they have Southern Oak has a very good handle on the profitability of these clinics, because they've been operating them for several years, and what stands out to us, if you look at those projections, given that 40% of the profits will be distributed to the EB5 investor, it generates a very high IRR over the 5 to 7 year period, and it certainly, I think EB5 investments typically are very low return investments, generally speaking, but not so in this case, and that's obviously because you're a significant equity holder in this business. And dental clinics tend to be very profitable, and they've got a profitable track record in terms of running their businesses. So I know I'm not going to talk about specific returns here, but we can share. It's in the business plan basically. If you look at the projected returns and returns to the EB5 investor, and you just calculate an IRR on that, it ends up being a very high return investment.
Yes.
So yeah, I think another question here for you, Yatsi, based on past clinic experience, what year since launch did they become profitable? Can you share financial returns for past investors, capturing both distributions and exit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me read the question.
Sorry, yeah.
What years since launch did you become profitable? From the second year, we become profitable for all the 3 dental clinics. We share financial returns for past investors. For the past investors, our business construction is very different from now. because before we use the foreign investors, they are all invested in one NCE. That is not allowed now by the USCIS new regulation. So each investor, 4 investors, one is myself, the other 3 investors, they own about 7.5 ownership of the whole company. So they will get their profit share every year based on their ownership. And we already have one. Since they got their green card in September and November last year, one investor already got their original invested amount back with additional with the profit share every year. And the amount the previous investor invested is also different. Previously, the investor invested $500,000. Now the USCIS increased the amount. So it's kind of different from what we planning to offer to the new investors.
Yatsi, do you want to take the next question as well? How were the clinics impacted during the pandemic?
It's a good question. So actually, we keep growing during the pandemic. Our clinics, we need to shut down for 1.5 months, I think, in 2020, from late March to early May. After that, we reopen our clinics gradually. And in 2021, our total production actually increased a lot because people, no matter is there a pandemic or not, people always need to see dentists. They need to do their teeth cleaning. If they have a pain on their teeth, they still need to see the dentist to finish their work. People cannot, like the hospital, always a requirement there. So we don't worry about the pandemic, or we are not affected by, also not affected a lot by the economy, because it's the needs always there. It's not like the real estate market. You have a lot affection by the economy or everything. So yeah, it's a good question.
Okay, there's a question here. Are the new dental clinics seeking EB5 investors approved already? No, that's not the case. This is for investors seeking to get a green card, so that are not yet approved.
Previous got approved.
The prior investors got their green cards, exactly. Maybe that's so I think we've gone through the questions, I believe. Thanks, Sam, for answering some of them online. Yeah, I mean, I think, I probably think we could end this soonish. And if anyone's still interested, obviously, please reach out to myself or Yatsi or Sam. We can certainly send over the term sheet, the business plan. It's got a lot of information in it. I think just to summarize, I guess we feel very excited about this opportunity. I think something that Yatsi basically has spoken about is their track record. It's really important. They know how to run these clinics profitably. We know that investors have got their green cards through this process. We know the job creation is very strong and robust. I actually went to my dentist this week, and she's a single dentist, and I just asked her, how many people do you employ here? And she said 12. So I think if you're looking to hire more than one dentist at each location, I think the 20 person job creation would seem, not a very high bar to me. I do think this is also a standout EB5 investment in terms of potential returns, given the profitability of these clinics and the fact that they're mandatory equity distributions, profit distributions. And so I think, it creates a great opportunity. And as Sam pointed out, with the potential for concurrent filing, you can actually invest in something like this and do a concurrent filing and get the benefits of your green card, or a lot of the benefits up front or fairly early on. So I think, unless there are any other questions, did anything else pop up? There's a question here, maybe for you, Sam, just a final question on the regional centers being open. How will this affect, direct investments
Sure.
in terms of timelines, etc.? I don't know if you want to take a stab at that.
Sure. Yeah, look, there's a lot of information and things in flux with the regional center program at the moment. Obviously, the Bering lawsuit and the judge's ruling on that injunction appears to be favorable for regional center reauthorization at this point, but we still have a lot of unanswered questions with that. In terms of what does it mean for regional centers that had pre-approved exemplars? Are those exemplars still good? Do they have to file a new exemplar to file cases? I don't think we know the answers to that 100% at the moment. I think the only thing that we know for sure is that a single investor direct project is good. And so, if you're trying to eliminate uncertainty in your decision, that's one thing that we do know, is that a single investor direct filing you can file right now. We don't know exactly how some additional treatment is going to be applied by USCIS. They're still silent as to how they're interpreting their actions now with that injunction. I think that's, we're going to need some guidance from USCIS to clarify some of these unanswered questions with the regional centers. But look, even with regional centers back online, directs are still out there and viable. They're a different kind of investment. They're structured differently. They have the ability to take advantage of these visa set-asides in terms of the type of investment that it is. So in many ways, it's not necessarily a direct competition between regional centers and directs. It's just, investors and investors versus investors, no matter if it's in a regional center or a direct for purposes of the visa carve-outs.
I mean, we actually have, I missed them, but we've got quite a few open questions still. But just in the interest of time, maybe I'll pick one or two of them if you don't mind. But maybe, Sam, do you want to just take a stab at processing times? We got one question here on how long will it take to get your conditional green card?
That's a great question. I wish I had the answer to that, because obviously clients are always asking, how long does it take? We're entering into a little bit of a blue ocean period right now with USCIS. We don't know how exactly they're going to apply, priority processing of certain types of investments based on the statute. We also, they just sort of started adjudicating cases in the backlog for regional centers about 60 days ago. So we really don't have a good grasp on whether or not adjudications of EB5 petitions are going to be faster than they have been historically. Historically, they have been slow. Historically, the average processing times for a 526 has been somewhere around 30 months. So that's not quick. That's another reason why the concurrent filing is so attractive, is that if you are in the US and you make an investment, you can file for the adjustment of status and get the travel authorization and work authorization while you're waiting through that long time period. So I don't know 100%. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that 100%. Everything right now is sort of speculative on timeframes.
And one maybe final question, a sort of a process related question for you, Sam. Once we get the visa approval, do we have the option to stay in the home country, or is it mandatory to move to the US?
Well, once you get the actual immigrant visa stamp in your passport, those visas are good for 180 days. So you have to make your initial entry into the US as an immigrant within 180 days, or that visa is invalid and you have to go get a new visa. And so I think if you're looking to spend more time outside the United States than previously planned, there are ways that you can, work that out. There's something called reentry permits, which you can apply for once you get your green card, that will allow you to spend, more time outside the United States than you initially planned. You can actually delay the scheduling of your immigrant visa through certain procedural ways of just submitting documentation at a slower time frame to kind of push the eventuality of your immigrant interview out even further. There are ways that we can slow it down to your benefit. So there is some flexibility there.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Sam and Yahtzee. I appreciate you spending a bit of time on this with us. And I think, for anyone that's interested, please reach out to me. We'll happily send a business plan, the term sheet, and we can certainly chat about this further if you have any more questions. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Yahtzee.
Of course. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.